Okay, is everyone ready for me to start this? Okay, time for episode 2. It's time to do the other side of the argument. Okay, I've done the left side, and now it's time to do the other side. They say you get more right wing as you get older, and this is going out a week later.
Previously on Rhys James Isn't.
We've got to do something about the environment, man. It's messed up. Greenhouse gases, CO2 emissions, fixing the ozone. Got to fix it. The weather's gone crazy. Love Greta Thunberg. Great, that generation. They're amazing.
This is no time for apathy. Instead, it should be a time for action.
I can't be angry at someone for using a certain toilet based on how they identify. If a gay kid is told that he could be gay younger and then comes out earlier, that's great. Of course it's great. I don't want to assume anyone's gender. Now we've got the pronouns. We've moved on. Bigots. They're completely snookered, the bigots. Bigots actually encroaching on our freedom. We need something more.
Do you think you'll always think this?
Do you think you'll always think this?
Do you think you'll ever change your mind?
Change your mind.
Yeah. Let's begin. I had a weird start to the year. At the start of the year, I was asked to speak at my school. I don't still go there. Good. That's what they said. They said, come and do a speech, Rhys, come and inspire the year 11s. And I said no, because there was no fee. But also, because if you're going to be one of those pricks who goes back to your school to give a speech to the year 11s, you've got to be famous, OK? You need to be so famous. You need to walk through the playground and have all the kids go, oh, my God, it's David Beckham. You know, if I go back to my old school, I'm going to walk through the playground and they're going to go, oh, look, it's a new boy. I know you've heard that joke before, but I don't know if you know the premise of this show is like do a left-wing one and a right-wing one. We did Ryan Giggs and David Beckham. What more do you want? That's the cleverest football politics joke you'll ever hear in your life. But I'm jealous of them as well. I'm jealous of the 16, 17-year-olds, you know, because they're so passionate, aren't they? They're so opinionated. I don't have any opinions. I don't care about anything. So now I need opinions. So that's what this show is, right? I'm going to be trying on opinions like clothes, trying to try them on. It's only fair I try on the other side, seeing what fits, you know, seeing what my opinions can become. That's the aim of this show. Now, this is obviously going to be the slightly more right-wing episode. So you're going to disagree with some of this. You are, by design, a left-wing crowd, OK? You're in London. It's pretty central London. It's a Sunday afternoon. It's a comedy audience. And the tickets were free. So... OK, but I'm trying to appeal to the Radio 4 listenership, and a lot of those people inject the Telegraph into their veins, all right? Right, so you're going to disagree with some of these things I'm going to say. You're going to disagree. It's not an agreement show, it's just a comedy show, OK? You don't have to agree with a comedian to find them funny. For example, you know, I personally don't agree with the bullying, divisive comedy of Roy Chubby Brown based on nothing but stereotypes. You know, but I do think that fat people are hilarious. You know, so it's finding the balance. That's a little taster. Right, if you're not enjoying this, listen to last week's.
Rhys James isn't into
the environment.
You know, the young generation, they're all obsessed with the environment. They're all so passionate about saving the planet. It's ridiculous. They all talk about it being a big problem. But there are good things about it too, right? Because they're all trying to peddle extreme weather to us now. They're all saying, oh, it's extreme weather. We've got to do something about extreme weather. Extreme weather is going to improve small talk dramatically, OK? Think about the amount of time you waste trying to fill conversations about weather. Imagine if that weather was suddenly extreme. Life would be so much easier. Somebody would, oh, it's really chucking it down out there, isn't it? It's like, yes, Judith, just this morning, a hailstone the size of a football killed my remaining son. Life gets easier with that, you know? And I thought we'd solved it with the bags. I thought we'd fixed it with the plastic bags when they demanded we pay 10p for a bit of plastic, which was ridiculous. I thought we'd solved it with that situation, but we haven't. Now what you get is all these people going into the supermarket, they remember their canvas bag once, you forget once, and they look at you and judge you like you want the planet to end there and then. They're so smug about it. And I watch them. I watch these people go up to the self-checkout with their canvas bags, looking at you all smug, and then I watch them fill those canvas bags with murdered cows wrapped in plastic. It's a disgrace. Now, my issue's not the meat, it's the hypocrisy. That's the issue with it, OK? I don't mind eating the meat, that's fine, right? I'm never going to go vegan. I know you're going to switch to a plant-based diet. I will never be a vegan, OK? I just can't do it, right? I read a while ago that apparently eating meat, right, has direct links to giving you cancer, and that changed nothing for me. I was like, there's a 1 in 3 chance I was going to get cancer anyway. There's no point getting it and being a burden at a barbecue. It's just another thing that they can say to us to make us feel bad, isn't it? Just going, oh, you're eating meat, don't you care about the planet? It's like, no, not really. Like, all right, what about the poor animal that had to die so you could have that meat? It's like, I just told you I'm willing to die for this. Really don't care about some pig I haven't even met?
The environment.
I'm here with Dr. Matt Winning, who is an expert on climate stuff. Is that true?
Yes, I have a PhD in climate change policy, and I'm a climate change researcher.
Oh, you don't expect experts to be Scottish. Is carbon dioxide bad for the environment?
Yes.
Don't plants need it?
Yes, but the problem here is all of the nuances and specifics of these that you've not gone into, that people study this for decades.
Sadly, we don't have time.
No, unfortunately not.
Why do we need polar bears? Why does anyone need polar bears?
I don't think anyone needs polar bears.
Right,
but
get rid of them. No one cared when the dodo went.
What if you're saying that on this program? Is this a program?
I'm obsessed with animals.
You are. I've not said anything about animals.
So do you care about animals or not?
I'm not a huge animal person. I've never owned a pet.
Never owned a pet, but I imagine that's some sort of left-wing agenda about ownership as well, is it?
Why am I left wing here? I'm not entirely.
I understand. There are some animals that we eat, and there are some that we don't eat, and that's the way it works. And there are some that we don't eat because they're cute, and there are some that we don't eat because they're far away. And some of them, we're not even penguin, get a grip. Right? And some of them we don't eat because they were useful to us at a time when the decision about eating them or not was made. Right, that's it. Like horses, right? None of us eat horses on purpose. We don't, right? And that's just because they used to be useful to us, didn't they, horses? They used to take us places, do stuff like that. The whole logic of not eating horses is basically just, oh no, he's cool. He gave my granddad a lift once. That's what it... Horses have the exact same rights as Uber drivers. And that sentence sounds a lot better that way around. A lot of it feels like just a lot of complaining about nothing, all the environment stuff, A lot of the issues presented aren't really issues, Like you constantly hear people say, sea levels are rising, we've got to act immediately to stop the sea levels rising. And the same people go, we're overfishing, we've got to stop overfishing. We're overfishing so much. Like, sounds to me like problem 2 is the solution to problem 1. There's the same people going, young people are screwed, young people, we don't have any prospects, we can't get a job, we don't have a pension, we can't get a house. At the same time going, the world's going to end in 15 years. Sounds to me like problem 2 is the solution to problem 1. Don't worry about it. Also, stop putting a time frame on it, all right? You've got to stop doing that, environmentalists. Stop. You're just going to look like an idiot when we get to that time period and it hasn't happened. You're just going to look foolish. Al Gore used to tell us there will be no polar ice caps by 2004. Right, and now, no one respects Al Gore because it's 2019, there's loads of ice caps, and he's still never had a Nando's. Right, we've got to stop putting a time frame on it. Even religious fundamentalist maniacs say the end is nigh, keeping it vague. That's what you got to do. Keep it vague, no one can trace it. That's the aim of the game. If you tell me that we've only got 15 years left, I believe that with as much conviction as when a friend's running late and says, I'll be there in 5 minutes. So I know I've got at least half an hour here. And that's why if I'm running late, I don't say I'm going to be 5 minutes. I say I'll be there nigh. What's all this 12 years, 15 years stuff I keep hearing about?
So we have 12 years was the thing. It's now almost 10. 10 years to reduce emissions by half.
And why has that got lower?
Because time has passed.
Right. But they always tell us, no, that time frame's been proven by scientists. 97% of scientists agree. That's what we always hear. Like, that's meant to convince me. 97%. There are some things you just need 100%. Right? If you were going on a date tomorrow and then you were told that 97% of people who've been out with this person before say they don't have definite gonorrhea, are you still going on that date? The answer is yes, if they're fit enough. Right? And that's the problem, isn't it? Scientists are munters. That's why we don't trust them. That's the problem. Are you one of the 97% of scientists?
I am, yes, indeed. One of the 97%, which is...
Well, I
think now 99% was the most recent updated paper.
Paper?
Yes. Study, because it's...
Right, study, okay. I was going to say. Paper is the devil, I'm told. Have humans ruined the Earth?
In a nutshell, we are heavily impacting the Earth. We've got about, if we want to stay below a 1.5 degree temperature increase, which would be sort of keeping things roughly as they are just now, we need to halve global emissions in the next 10 years.
Part of the problem, that a lot of that 10 years is being wasted by people like you explaining stuff like that. And the Extinction Rebellion people, right? Fine if your message is right, but you're just approaching it in such a weird way. I saw this woman on the news, right? And she was saying, we've got to start society again. We've got to scrap what we've got and start society again. But she was dressed like Fagin. And it was like, we have. We've started it again loads of times since whatever era you think you're in. And if I'm going to start society again, my leader is not going to be someone who looks like a serial killer's drawing of a scarecrow, is it? So But that's not the leader. The leader is Greta Thunberg. Everyone loves Greta Thunberg. Not me. I hate Greta Thunberg. In this episode, I hate her so much. I don't understand. Oh, suddenly it's okay to follow a 16-year-old girl. It's ridiculous. Right, look, obviously Greta Thunberg's inspirational, and obviously she's on the right side of history and all that sort of stuff. But I think there's a secret agenda with all this Greta Thunberg stuff. Like, the whole thing to me smacks of Duke of Edinburgh award. It's ridiculous. We know you're doing it for your personal statement, love. And she's got the whole Duke of Edinburgh down, hasn't she? Expedition, sailing around the world. Learning a skill, public speaking. Service to the community, got everyone a day off school. You know, she's got it all down. She's going to get that gold award, and then she's going to go back to caring about nothing but Little Mix. She's a 16-year-old girl, that's what she is. I bet she's doing it for a boy. I bet a boy said to her, I can't go out with you, the world's going to end. She said, we'll see about that. I bet that's what it is. Please, I must remind you of the premise. But, oh, does it get significantly worse? Yes.
Do you think there's too many people?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people.
Think we'd be better off as a planet with fewer people?
I think that's a very difficult question to answer.
Based on how bad scientists like you claim humans are for the environment, should we all stop having kids?
No.
Do you think that were there fewer people, there would be less climate change?
Technically, yes, but I don't think that's the main solution for this.
Right, and yet environmentalists continue to have children. Now, is that because condoms are single-use plastic?
Not. I mean, they are single-use plastic. Yeah, you're.
So we should ban condoms?
No, absolutely not.
Well, why not if they're single-use plastic?
Well, because the single-use plastic is going to have a lower carbon footprint than a human child.
A human child. So we should ban having children?
I'm not saying we should ban having children. You should probably have more
condoms than children. And that's science, is it?
Never thought about this.
Do you hate people?
No, I don't. I mean, some of them.
Gender politics.
Now they want to teach LGBT stuff in schools. Right, and I've got to say, like, everyone thinks it's woke to get on board with that. Everyone's always telling you, like, it's really progressive and it's woke to support gay marriage. It's not. It's not woke to support gay marriage. Gay marriage lacks diversity. Okay? There's a law now that on Mock the Week, you've got to have at least one woman. We can't have reached a point where Mock the Week has better gender representation than marriage. We can't have got there. I don't think people are considering the reality of what it would be like to teach these lessons, you know, to actually teach LGBT lessons in school. You know, also, what are you going to do? You're going to go straight to LGBT lessons from religious studies? You're just going to arrive into the lesson and be told, forget everything you were just told. Makes no sense. If you're going to do it, you've got to slip it into other subjects. You know, you should do it in maths. You know, use sin, cos, tan if you have to. That's what you should do. Do it in sin, cos, tan. It'd be simple. You go, oh, what's the name of the British one from Queer Eye? Tan. Why is tan going to hell? Cos homosexuality is a sin. You know, it's easy. And that's the one you clap, is it? Now, obviously, morally, I don't agree with that at all. As I say, this show's about trying on opinions, seeing how they feel. I didn't have to try that one on. I can see from the rack that wasn't for me. And that's what's fascinating about this, right? Is none of you agree with that, hopefully, as a sentiment. But it's such a well-structured joke, you couldn't deny it. You don't agree with the joke, you couldn't deny talent when you saw it. That's what happened. That's trigonometry. What's interesting, though, is a lot of people they put on the news who are against having these LGBT lessons in school were Muslim parents, right? And what's interesting about that is that presents a real Sophie's choice for the super woke, doesn't it? Right? Because the progressive left, they don't want to be seen to be disagreeing with Muslims or with the gay community, right? But they can't agree with one without simultaneously disagreeing with one of the other ones now. So they're completely snookered, right? So now they'll all be online, these woke people going, of course we should teach LGBT issues in schools. Of course we should. This is ridiculous. Why wouldn't we? And then they'll get a Muslim parent in reply going, actually, it goes against my long-held religious beliefs and I find what you've said to be Islamophobic, which is why I'm of the belief that Muslim parents don't actually care about teaching this stuff in schools. They've just teamed up with the gay community to create some sort of heist so that the super woke pricks on the internet will delete their accounts. This is basically Alien versus Predator all over again. But we've reached this weird time. We've reached this weird time with gender as well. Like, we're at a time now where women are all empowered now. Women feel very empowered, and a lot of them, like, they're not, like, shaving their legs, not shaving their armpits, they're not wearing makeup. You know, it's changed for men too. You know, men, you can't just go up to a woman and call her beautiful anymore, you know, because she's not. The thing is, I can't even say this anymore. I can't even say men and women. Gender's fluid now, isn't it? Got to refer to gender as being fluid. I'll never forget when I was a little kid, I was sat on my granddad's lap and I looked up in and I said, "Granddad, I love you." And he said, "It is grand person. How dare you?" But we got to do these pronouns. They all want us to call them by whatever pronouns they choose, right? And there are some people who've gone too far with it, and now they want to add 70 new gender pronouns to the dictionary, right? Now, if nothing else, that is going to make your French GCSE a lot more difficult. Right? Even those words have genders, and you can't solve it with a they, because there's a masculine and a feminine they in French, right? What is going on in France right now with the trans community? They've got to sort it out, because they've got some of the girliest boys and manliest girls around in France. And there are some morons, there are some idiots who say that it's not different to a nickname. They say, "Oh, it's just the same as a nickname, just call them what they want." That's not how nicknames work. You don't give yourself a nickname. Nicknames are just insults that stick with you. That's all it is. And if you meet someone who's chosen their own nickname, they are 100% of the time the biggest prick you've ever met, okay? You don't choose your nickname, right? When I had a nickname at school, right, there was a year of my life at school where everyone called me Mr. Deacon, because he was our history teacher and I wore the same jumper as him on non-uniform day. Deco, for a year of my life. It was a good jumper, he was too old for it. Thing is, the main issue, the main talking point with the whole trans thing is the toilets. You know, they all want to change the toilets. We need to have gender-neutral toilets from now on. Right? And what's good about this debate is this is one of the few debates you can't blame on men. Because pretty much the villain in every conversation these days is white men now. They're seen as, by the woke people, as being the bad guy. Right? But they're not the ones in this, because men will piss anywhere. Right? Every toilet is a gender-neutral toilet if you need it enough. Right? Men, famously, I've pissed in some gender-neutral alleyways in my time. What it does, though, is it presents a behavioural issue for men. Because men will wait till the last second before they go to the toilet, right? And women, they have to plan when they're going to need the toilet, because their toilets always have queues, right? So now if we're all in the same toilet, there's going to be queues. What's going to happen is men are going to get up to the toilet at the last second, they're going to see a big queue, they're going to get in that queue, not be able to hold it, and they're going to start pissing on the wall of the queue, right? And this is going to be such a problem over the world, they're going to put urinals in queues, right? And then women will go, "Oh, that's disgusting, I don't want to be here." Then they'll go and form their own queue over here, right? And then a trans person will get up to go to a gender-neutral toilet and see a queue of women and a queue of men and go, "Well, I'm back at square one." I mean, what are we doing here? Also, the dream scenario is that they all end up being cubicles, right? That's the main aim, is that we change all toilets to be cubicles so they're all gender neutral. Now, that is a massive upheaval for a small section of society. Trans people make up 0.6% of the population, right? Claustrophobes is 7%. If anything, we should be getting rid of cubicles altogether. Literally breaking down walls. What could be more inclusive than that? Out in the open, pooping in one long mutual poop trough. The thing is, the trans issue, it presents real issues for, like, what's going to happen with sport, what's going to happen in prisons, because the dynamic of those things work.
Hi, it's me, Rhys James, from the radio show you're currently listening to. What happened here is that I tried to enter a discussion about trans people in prisons and in sport, and it went so badly that we've had to cut it from the entire show. I was performing to quite a left-wing crowd. They didn't agree. They became quite angry. So we rejoin the action now in the line that I used to get the left-wing audience back on my side. Please enjoy.
Fleabag is excellent and Donald Trump is orange and bad. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely getting cancelled for this show. It's just weird because you can't do this. It's an experiment, this. I'm just trying to do an experiment. I know that's the last thing you want to hear when you come to a comedy show. This is going to be a bit of an experiment. No one wants to hear that in any scenario. Like, go to a comedy show, a bit of an experiment, you're about to have sex with someone. This is going to be a bit of an experiment. I'd say you don't even want to hear it if you're about to watch someone do an experiment. The thing is, I wanted to try these things, try these opinions, and see how they felt, but, like, I know I'm just going to get cancelled for it, you know, because you're not allowed to change your mind anymore. That's the way it's gone, right, with the cancel culture. You're not allowed to change your mind. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned regret? We used to be a nation of regretters. We're not allowed to regret things anymore, change our mind, right? The other day I heard someone say this. Someone said, "Don't have regrets. You mustn't have regrets, because whatever you did was at one point exactly what you wanted." I'm like, so? I'm an idiot. At one point, I paid for the Crazy Frog ringtone. At one point, I bought a little chair for my old Nokia mobile phone. My judgment is abysmal. At one point, I sucked on the breast of my own mother. Doesn't mean I don't regret New Year's Eve 2012. People change, okay? People move on.
Technology.
And no one knows what they want. Anyway, no one knows what they want with this stuff. Everyone's so confused, you know. Like, Facebook's the best example of this. Do you remember a while ago, you'd go on Facebook, and there'd be an advert for something you'd Googled a couple of days earlier, and we were all like, what? How do they know? Then we all figured out what the internet and cookies are, and we chilled out, right? But now you go on Facebook, and there is an advert for something you dreamt. Or you never expressed an interest in. You're not typed in it. You've just been thinking in the back of your mind. Then 2 days later, Facebook pops up like, oh, you're looking for Jay-Z tickets? Yes, I have changed that reference to sound cooler. It was originally Hall & Oates tickets, wasn't really connecting. Remember? I know how they know. It's because they're listening to us. They're recording us at all times, aren't they, Facebook? They give you adverts based on what they hear you talk about in your own house. Did an experiment to test my theory. For an entire week, whenever I had my laptop, I would open up Facebook and I would say the phrase Chiquitos over and over again. Chiquitos, Chiquitos, over and over. Chiquitos, Chiquitos. Then after a week, I went on Facebook. Every single advert was for Anusol. They are listening to us, okay? You can't be too careful. I think it's also good. People always say this. They're just like, oh my God, they're listening to us and giving us adverts based on what we say. Good. Then I'll stop getting adverts for stuff I don't want. Such a weird country, this, of people going, oh, why am I getting an advert for a pushchair? I don't have a baby. Well, then a big company comes along and goes, we can just give you adverts you want based on stuff you like. All you've got to do is just let us know what you like. And everyone's like, no, guess. I don't want to say. Chase me, chase me. I don't want to say. If you don't know, Mark, you will never know, okay? Everyone's so paranoid. Everyone's too paranoid. They think they're being listened to, think they're being spied on all the time. Like everyone's got tape on their laptop camera now because they're all inexplicably scared. The government are watching them through it, doing their filthy business. My housemate had it all the time. He had tape on it. I said, mate, the government don't care. He kept saying, it's not about the government, Rhys. It's about the hackers. What if the hackers film me doing that, then use the footage to blackmail me? Mark Zuckerberg's got tape on his laptop camera. I was like, yeah, but Mark Zuckerberg is worth blackmailing. Mark Zuckerberg is the 5th richest man in the world. You used a Groupon for a colonic. And they've got the supermarket now, Amazon. They've opened the Amazon Go supermarket. Have you seen that? It's amazing. What it is you go in, you scan a little thing, and then it picks you up. You just go, no one works there. There's no staff. They don't need any. Human beings are becoming completely obsolete. And just as women were getting equality. Gutted. Oh, so close. Really thought it was going to be your year. Sorry. What I love, though, is that the left claim to care about jobs, right? The left are always banging on about how automation is bad, how having these robots is a bad thing, you know, because people are losing jobs. Robots are taking our jobs, right? That's what they say, right? And yet these same people will be very angry if you were to say that about foreigners, that foreigners are taking people's jobs. They get really upset and call them a bigot. To me, this whole thing about being angry at robots taking jobs is just a dog whistle for being anti-immigration on the left. That's all they're doing. Because I don't know if you know, but these robots, they're not from England, all right? They're from China. They're essentially saying, oh, these Chinese coming over here, taking our jobs, not learning the culture. Unexpected item, those are great British baked beans, okay? You'd know that if you were born here.
Is your business being run into the ground by tired morons with names like Sharon and Clyde? Running out of patience with your employees' need for sustenance, toilet breaks, salaries, and limbs? Why not step into the 21st century and hire yourself a machine? Our machines can do everything a human can do with none of the passive-aggressive labeling of food in the shared kitchenette. A robot will process large bits of information almost instantly, almost every time. A robot won't get pregnant, no matter how hard you try. A robot doesn't misinterpret remarks as being sexist and snitch to the manager. A robot does stay skinny. A robot won't claim to have a dentist appointment because they're hungover. A robot will keep your company running long after you've been died, after you've died. You don't need to pay a salary, just a one-off lump sum. Or you can pay it off monthly, just like you would if it was a salary. So hire a robot today. After all, a robot won't break your heart, Sharon.
Thing is, the favourite hobby of the left is to take things out of context, right? They love taking things out of context, right, and then putting it out as a soundbite, and then ruining that person's life, ruining that person's career with stuff that wasn't even what they said. You know, like, context is important. We know it's important. I've seen comedians with review quotes that just say, unbelievable, The Guardian. You know, for all we know, that could say, an unbelievable disregard for the audience's desire to see something good. You might as well have a review quote that says, very. It's ridiculous. Doesn't mean anything. They love doing that. They love taking things out of context, you know, to paint someone as a villain. You know, just last week, the left-wing snowflake, Rhys James, said that we should have LGBT lessons in schools, right? It was very pandering stuff to a left-wing audience. And what he said was this. parents are worried that it's going to be teaching them too young because it involves discussing sex, there's no such thing as too young with this sort of thing. If you teach a kid it's okay to be gay young and then they come out earlier, that's great. Okay. Context is important though, isn't it? Sex. Sex. There's no such thing as too young. Sex. Of course it's great.
There's no such thing as too young.
Wow, left-wing Rhys, that's a bit much. Good Lord. So with that in mind, and knowing that this could happen to any of us at any moment, particularly me, with the stuff I've been talking about, I've decided to end this show with a preemptive, generic apology for any situation I may be in. So if ever I am cancelled, you can just play this back and it'll pretty much cover all the bases. So, in light of recent revelations, I would like to say I am deeply regretful. I understand my actions have upset people, and I can assure you this was not my intention. My intention when doing the bad thing I did was to raise awareness for bad things, not to endorse bad things. I accept full responsibility because saying that doesn't actually do anything. Obviously, I understand I mean a great deal to a lot of people, and I have let down my enormous and lucrative fan base. I have a great relationship with my fans, better known as respecters, which I would never wish to jeopardise, because losing them would mean I have to get a normal job, and then I'm no better than they are. The way I have behaved is completely out of character and in no way reflects the real me, unless you've ever been in a WhatsApp group I'm in. I have done a lot of talking, I have hurt a lot of people, but now it's time to listen. Okay, I've done some listening, now it's time to talk again. I know I have lost your respect, but hopefully with time I can earn it back. Or just wait until you move on to the next apology hastily written on the notes app on someone's phone and forget I even did anything to begin with. To my fans, I am sorry for letting you down. To my family, I am sorry for putting you through this. And to my PR agent, I am sorry for sharing this apology without running it by you first. Truly and deeply, soz.
Rhys James Isn't was written and performed by Rhys James. He was talking to Dr. Matt Winning. It was produced by Carl Cooper. It was a BBC Studios production.
So you've done this now, you've tried on these opinions, you've explored both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
What have you learned?
Really, the thing is just about how important it is to have the opinions.
Is it?
That's what I think, yeah. You know, you can't be apathetic in this day and age. This is no time for apathy. It should be a time for action.
Where have you got that from? You've just nicked that, haven't you? From the bit at the start of the show.
We're out of time.
You've just nicked that off Hillary Clinton.
Thank you for coming in.